Thank you for joining me for another episode of YQG in Bloom. My name is Tracy Martins, and today I am with Laura K. Bird, and she is part of the Windsor Feminist Theater, and they have brought back Windsor Fringe. I'm so excited.
So am I.
Well, technically it's Fringe Windsor, but
Correct.
What made you guys bring this back?
Well, when I returned to Windsor in 2023, I was really eager to see a Fringe Festival. I've been a part of them for decades, and I realized there hadn't been one in Windsor since the pandemic. The pandemic had a really bad impact on a lot of theater-going practices. So I looked into it. Didn't seem like that the previous producers were going to remount. So I started the process and talked to people to get us certified with the Canadian Association of Fringe Festivals. But really, why did I bring it back? Because I wanted to go to Fringe.
Okay, and for people that don't know what Fringe is, what is a Fringe Festival? I just learned this year myself.
It's very exciting. Fringes are unjuried theater festivals, and admission is either by lottery or on a first-come, first-served basis. Mm-hmm. So in Canada, actually in North America, in order to call yourself a Fringe, you have to actually be part of the Canadian Association of Fringe Festivals. The granddaddy of all fringes is actually the Edinburgh Fringe, and that has been running for many years, decades. I can't remember the exact year it began, but it literally began when there was a theater festival of invited-only participants and other people that wanted to have their voices heard and be a part of it, went to Edinburgh and produced theater on the Fringe.
And I had no idea that this is worldwide. Like,
Yes.
I mean, it's everywhere. I was looking at them and it's like Australia, everywhere.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
There are definitely Fringe artists that actually work a circuit. So you can actually go to Australia and do the Australian circuit. And people come to Canada as well. People come to Canada and are part of the Canadian circuit. Mm-hmm. In the Canadian circuit, you can actually apply to be part of what's called the touring lottery. And so artists from overseas can apply to get drawn in that lottery, and then they have the option to pick more than one Fringe to be a part of.
Oh, that's so cool. Yeah. That I did not know about. And I know Windsor was a lottery draw.
Yes.
And
yes.
I didn't get in.
I'm really sorry. But I encourage you to keep working and apply next year.
I actually am. I'm very excited. I'm so glad I'm going to be home to see this.
Great.
Yeah. Now, how many people will be performing, or should I say, are they called groups or
That's a really good question. So what we have in Fringe Windsor this year is we have 12 companies.
Okay.
And those companies are comprised of 55 artists. So we have some big casts in our shows. And so 12 companies, 55 artists, and they will perform 48 performances.
Oh my goodness.
Each company gets 4 shows.
Wow.
Yeah.
Where is Fringe going to be held?
Fringe is going to be located in the Walkerville neighborhood. It's primarily based out of Show Studios. There's 2 venues there. Venue 1 and Venue 2 are at Show, as well as the Fringe Club, very important part of Fringe. And then Venue 3 is located at the Old Legion on Brant Street.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, what's Fringe Club?
Fringe Club is an area where you can relax between shows. You can have a snack, you can get a drink. The key thing is talking to other people. So it's an opportunity and a place to rest between shows and just talk to artists and audience members. Fringe is really about community. Mm-hmm. You'll notice in most Fringes that they're held in a geographically specific spot in a neighborhood or in multiple spots, but each of them has their own little hub. Because it's really important to build community, both amongst artists and amongst audience.
And I do want to show, we already have these, which says Fringe Windsor, and it has the date. And on the back, there is a how to Fringe, which I'm going to take pictures and I'm going to post this when
Thank
I
you.
post the podcast, because these are so cute. I love having little things like that to remember. You can go to numerous different shows. And what is the pricing like?
Okay, so the way it works is that the artists get 100% of the ticket price. So they get to set their prices. We gave them a range. So our shows are ranging from $12 to $18.
Oh, that's reasonable.
It's quite reasonable, and it's really empowering. So the artists have to set their budgets. So they want to be able to make back at least what they put into a Fringe show. So $12 to $18 is your ticket price. Because they get 100% of the profits from ticket sales. As the Fringe, we sell a button. And I don't have the buttons yet, but the buttons look like this little ticket guy. This little guy here is your button.
Aww.
And he is your admission to any venue. So $5 button gets you into all the venues. We just ask that you show it, and it's a one-time purchase.
Okay.
So I figured out that if I go to all 12 shows and I buy my button, it's $180. And I will have seen 12 unique, original performances.
That is great. Because I know it costs to apply to Fringe.
Correct.
And then it costs if you get accepted for Fringe.
Correct.
Now, there was some international, some
National?
national, and then local.
Yes, correct. And we had a category we called Special Fringe Exposure. So we actually have 7 local and we have 5 national, because our Special Fringe Exposure lottery draw is someone from Montreal. Ooh. So we have artists coming from Montreal, 3 from Toronto. Where is my 4th? Oh, and 1 from London, just up the way. Yeah, 1 from London.
And where is the international one from?
We had an international that was drawn, and then they had to withdraw.
Oh, that's fun.
So because we didn't get a huge amount of international applications, we chose to balance it out with a local. So that's why we have 7 local.
And it's nice because the lottery was drawn at the Thirsty Butler, and anybody could come. So that way you know that it's not any hanky-panky going on there.
It's really important.
But
it's really important that we live up to the values we set, and that is one of the values of Fringe, is that anyone can apply.
And I was really surprised at how many applicants that you had, being that this is the first time back in a few years.
Yeah, it was great. We actually had 35 applicants.
Which is good because, I mean, there's a lot of shows just in Ontario.
There is.
Yeah.
There is. Fringes try not to step on each other's toes, especially in neighborhoods. So we overlap a little bit with the Hamilton Fringe, just one weekend. We are only a one weekend Fringe, and that's intentional. We want to start small, be successful, and then grow our audience.
If people wanted to go to or try out for any other Fringe, it's quite an application, like months and months in advance.
Fringe artists are generally getting their applications in by January. The only exception this year would be the Island Fringe in Prince Edward Island is going to be held in October. Oh. So they had a later application date. But usually Fringes have it chosen by the beginning of April.
What are some of the acts that we're going to have?
Oh, I'm really excited by all of the acts. One of the things about Fringe is it's theater without a net. You get a little hint of what the show might be about, and it just whets your appetite to go and see more. We have, I'm going to try and get through all 12 if I can. We have a couple of one-woman shows. So I personally like one-performer shows a lot because I've written my own, and there's people on the Fringe circuit I've liked. We have one called Hysterically Yours by Michelle Main Waring, and it is her story about what it's like to be different. Another one is called I Sound Like My Mom. And that is another woman telling her journey about discovering she starts to sound like her mom. We have one called The Three Marys. And The Three Marys is a local person, Linda Lord, and she has devised a show that looks at the three Mary characters from the New Testament. So she's written a piece that utilizes music, isn't a musical, but tells that story of those three biblical characters from the New Testament. And then another one that's kind of close to my heart is called Where I'm At Now. And the reason it's close to my heart is it is a young woman who's just finished a year of theater school, and it's her musing on what that experience was like for her to be in that environment. It's an environment I'm familiar with from many moons ago, so I'm curious to see what that looks like now.
Have you done Fringe before?
I have.
Performed?
I have. Both myself and my co-producer, Valerie Bonasso, have worked in Fringes for decades. So I have performed, I have produced, I have directed, I've been on a board for Fringe, I've volunteered. Yeah.
Yeah, because I just thought that if you applied for Fringe and you got in and then you did your thing. And I was really surprised when people were saying, well, when I applied, do you have a director? Do you have a producer? I'm like, no. I didn't realize that there's this whole thing that goes with it.
There is. You're right. I think that sometimes we forget in the theatrical arts, the artists that aren't on stage, your directors, your designers, your stagehands, all of that. Not every show, like some shows are self-directed, self-written, self-produced. That's definitely a possibility.
Like a one-woman show or a
Absolutely.
one-person show, I should say.
Absolutely. So sometimes there'll be a director, sometimes not. Sometimes there'll be a producer, sometimes not. Some people, their shows get to a really solid point. They have all of their tech on a drive or on their computer, and it makes it really portable. So each venue has its own technician, and each show will get to work with that technician in a tech rehearsal. So they'll be able to run the cues and do that. And some have stage managers that travel.
I was never expecting that when people were saying about Fringe, and I'm thinking, okay, you just go and you do your performance and that's it.
It's a lot less of let's put on a show and a lot more of, we just have this creativity we got to get out there. And the more support you have, it's great, but it doesn't always happen. You can have greatness without the support too.
Now, what is the most surprising thing that you found with creating a festival? Even though Fringe is an entity on its own.
What's the most surprising? I think I've had enough experience with Fringes that nothing has been a surprise yet.
What about your first Fringe? Like, was there something you weren't expecting when you said, okay, I'm going to do this?
My first Fringe was as an audience member, and it was in Vancouver. And I fringed from noon until midnight.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes. When it was my day off, I was a very, very active fringer. Attending shows. I think one of the most interesting things about Fringe is that you can have your expectations really high for something. There was a show one time that I was so excited, looked super slick, and I went and saw it, and it was like, meh. It didn't live up to it. And then you'll go see this little off-the-wall thing that you've never heard of, and it turns out to be a real gem. I've bought scripts from artists that I've never met before, but I love their show so much. I said, can I buy your script?
And having the Windsor Feminist Group, do you guys produce?
So Windsor Feminist Theatre does have a mandate that includes providing voice to people that didn't traditionally have voices. And at the time when it was created, it's the story of women and girls. And those stories are still vitally important. We actually saw an opportunity with Fringe Windsor to use the structure that we have in place of being a theater of 40 years, that we didn't have to recreate that administrative infrastructure, and that we would still provide an opportunity for stories to be heard, including marginalized stories. There's few of these stories that are in mainstream theater. However, there are some that grow from Fringe into mainstream. One of the most recent one is Kim's Convenience, which is a CBC TV show, and that began at the Toronto Fringe.
Oh my goodness.
There are definitely people who've been to many fringes who have certain fringe artists that they follow. So when I was a young person in the 90s, Mump and Smoot were fringe veterans out of Toronto that were brilliant clown artists. TJ Daw is the name of a fellow who has both produced and actually now teaches people. He performed and wrote a lot of shows for fringes, and actually one of our fringe shows was directed by him. That's coming, The Awkward Ballerina. So I'm going to try and get every show in here if I can. So The Awkward Ballerina, we're super excited because we've just realized that we have the opportunity to have that one signed with ASL. So that will be accessible for deaf people who use ASL. Nice. And the artist initiated that, and it is Stagehands Windsor, which if you ever have a chance to see a show that they sign, it's very exciting. So we're thrilled that we have that one. Awkward Ballerina is the story of a woman with cerebral palsy who wants to be a ballerina. So
that sounds like a lovely
show. So we talked about some of the shows. Can I talk about a few more?
You can tell us all.
So I did the 4 one-woman shows. We have 2 musicals, 2 original musicals. Both of those are local, which is kind of exciting. One is The Music School Bus Discovers Sex. And that's done by Extension Corda. Okay. Tracy Ayton from Corda Zone Theatre and well-known producer in our area and writer and director. The second one is called Flushed, a love story. And it's a story about a plumber, someone with IBS, and family legacies.
Oh my goodness.
Original lyrics set to 90s tunes. So if you're a 90s fan, this could be the musical for you. We also have a piece that's entirely dance. So a local company has a piece called Where the World Ends. They're out of Amherstburg, and theirs is a contemporary dance piece, full dance piece. One of our shows is called The Turing Test, and that looks at AI and relationships and maybe the extent that people will go to, things that people will go to try and pursue their scientific pursuits. I haven't seen it yet. I'm very eager to see it. It has projections that also include subtitles. So as someone who's hard of hearing, I watch everything on subtitles. Really excited I can see a show with subtitles. So it's cool. Fringes do try to be accessible. And because there's flexible, sometimes there's more opportunities to be accessible. For a first year for us as producers, we're so excited that we have 3 that are potentially accessible for a deaf or hard of hearing audience. The dance show, Awkward Ballerina, and the Turing Test, which uses projections with subtitles.
Okay.
So I'm super excited to see how that plays out. We have an award-winning children's author coming. Nadia Hone is coming from Toronto with her show Wheel and Turn, which looks at a woman's life, that she's gone through things in her life, and she works things out at the same time as exploring a Jamaican poet. So, and that one has some music, and I'm very excited. Nadia is an award-winning children's author.
So is that a children's themed
Do you know what? That's a great question. We actually ask the artists to decide what the guideline is. So when you go onto the Fringe website, fringewindsor.com, you can look at all the Fringe shows, and each one is going to give you a rating. Okay. And they'll say why the rating is there. So for example, one of our shows has a general rating, but also admits some of the concepts might be hard to understand if you're under the age of 14.
Okay.
So they want the audiences to be able to access the content as well. How many shows am I up to? I'm not forgetting. We have a local one called Love and Redemption, which is an original script. And the way they describe it is, it's the perfect couple until one finds out what the other's favorite movie is.
Oh my God.
I know.
Okay,
Anyone
that
who's been in a
sounds
relationship,
cool.
yeah, very cool. People who've been in a relationship often are like, oh,
Yep.
is this a deal breaker?
It tells you a lot about a person.
It does. It does. Now let me see. How many shows have I got there? I'm in my head looking at the fringewindsor.com, which you can go to and see all these shows with their links. We have one from the Windsor Persian Cultural Center.
Oh, yes, I saw that.
Yes, it's called A Forbidden Love. And the story of, I'm blanking on their names, so you have to look at who the story is. But very exciting that it looks to be an ancient tale, an ancient Persian tale.
Yeah, because I think they were the first ones drawn in the local.
They were the first name drawn. Yeah, so very excited to have them here. Very excited to see the shows, and you can see every show because we are a 4-day festival with only 3 venues. So it's a bit of a marathon, but if you sat through 4 shows a day and picked 1 venue a day, you could see shows with little breaks in between.
Oh, it's doable. I mean,
and
it's better than Whiff.
Well, Sunday's available for your favorites. And it's funny you say Whiff, because for people who are unfamiliar with Fringe, describing it a little bit like Whiff, in the sense that things run in different hours for a set amount of time, and you can pick and choose.
But you don't have like 60 or 70 things that you're
not yet
a zombie.
No, true. I think when you get that big, there are Fringes in Canada that run over 2 weekends. So you will have like 10 days, noon to midnight programming.
So we're going to see this again next year.
Oh, Fringe is coming back. Yeah, absolutely. Here to stay.
Was it hard bringing it back, like getting everything organized and started from the ground up?
Oh, such a good question. No, because of the generosity of people in Windsor. So Valerie Bonasso, my co-producer, she is just really well connected in the city. She knows the city and she knows the art scene very well. And when we put it out to Windsor, we had what we called Fringe Faux information nights, and people came out to those. We got really good feedback. So we got to hear from people their experiences. They were glad that it was coming back. There's records of who was involved in previous years. We were able to talk to them. So not as daunting or as scary as one would think. Yeah, it was really good. And that's a tribute to Windsor's performing arts community.
It's growing. It is coming back in full force, and people just are eating it up. Whether it is plays, productions, musicals, movies, like people are just loving, even the comedy scene's getting.
It is.
Gone.
So when I left Windsor, which was decades ago, there was not a lot of live performance that wasn't musical or that was like sort of within the city. And it's blossomed since I've left. There's so much going on. I could see 2 shows a weekend, I think.
Oh, for sure. And even like the theater production companies, I've only seen a couple of them, and I'm still finding new ones that are coming out. People are messaging me, and it's like, oh my God, I had no idea we had so many different production companies around here.
Yeah, it's a very active scene.
I'm really happy about that, because it's nice that you don't have to worry about going over to the States or going to London or Toronto. We actually have a nice little group here that is very, very hardworking.
We do. The other interesting thing that happened in the pandemic is that there were a lot of artists that were trained in Windsor who left for work because it's hard to get paid work in Windsor. But the pandemic brought people home, and that was all over Canada. That's not unique to Windsor.
Yeah.
So it brought people home, and I sometimes wonder if that helped invigorate the community.
I think so, because there are a few things that I say that came out of that time, and that's how we have learned to become self-sufficient. We're figuring it out here, which is nice.
Oh, Windsor has the talent.
Oh,
Windsor
gosh, yes.
absolutely has the talent. We are grateful to the city of Windsor, who have invested in us through the Arts, Cultural, and Heritage Fund grants. And at the same time, we have tons of potential for growth. So the Ontario Chamber of Commerce actually suggests that municipalities invest in arts and cultural enterprises.
That's great.
So if the Chamber of Commerce says it, we're a good investment.
I think we are. I think we are. I've seen enough performances and bands and plays.
Absolutely.
And we are a very talented area.
Truly.
For the Windsor Feminist Theatre, is there anything coming out soon with you guys?
Yes. So we do have a fall production, and I can't reveal the name yet because I'm still waiting to confirm that we have the rights. But the goal will definitely be to build to a season.
Okay.
Everything's in a building phase post-COVID, and but Windsor Feminist Theatre has been very steady. It's 40 years, over 40 years in Windsor, creating and producing theatre.
Yeah, I will definitely have to have you back in the fall when we can talk about this production.
Anytime, every time.
Yes.
And also, when you talk about how we plan Fringe, everybody's excited about Fringe this year. Mm-hmm. But I would say as planners, we're like, okay, we have this year, next year, third year. So our thought pattern definitely extends. We will learn so much from this. We will absolutely learn a lot. There's lots of opportunities for people to come and interact and see. You can come down to the Fringe Club and just find out what it's about without even seeing a show. We're also going to have a People's Choice Award. So we will do exit surveys, both with our audience members and with our artists, to figure out what we can do to improve on the Fringe next year.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, and the people that won't hear about Fringe, because I mean, it's the first year back and there are people that don't really follow social media and stuff too much. They're going to know for next year and the year after, and it's just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And I'm really excited to see it from the ground up.
That's the goal. Oh yeah, thank you. We're super excited too. We are very confident in Windsor's ability to sustain a Fringe festival.
Yes, and I think I'm definitely going to talk to you when we're done about being a volunteer.
Terrific.
Yes.
It takes a lot. It takes a lot of volunteers, but it's a really fun experience.
So you are still looking for volunteers?
We are. We've sent the schedule out, but there's always room for more. And if you go to our website, fringewindsor.com, you can fill out a form right there. You can fill out a form on our website. You can buy a button. You can get your tickets. It's pretty efficient.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Oh, Laura, thank you so much for being on here.
Thank you for having me. It's been a delight.
I'm so excited about Fringe Windsor. And again, make sure that you go to
fringewindsor.com.
Check out the schedule if you want to be a volunteer, even to get some information about how to apply for next year.
And I apologize if I missed any shows. I'm trying to visualize.
And if not, we are going to have a list of the shows that are going to be in our description of the podcast. And thank you to Laura K. Bird.
Thank you so much. It's been so much fun to be here.
I appreciate it so much. My name is Tracy Martins, and thank you for joining me for another episode of YQG in Bloom. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel so that we can keep it going. You guys have a great day.